What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you're on a fantastic day today, and today we're going plane spotting at Orlando International Airport for you all. I really hope each and every one of you are excited for today's video, and without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Welcome to Orlando International Airport. We have just arrived here on a Spirit Airlines Airbus A319. Feel free to check out that trip report if you have missed it to this point, but nevertheless, I'm really excited. This is going to be my first time spotting here and formally, and I'm really excited for all this. So without any further delay, I'll go ahead and jump back to the beginning of the sequence when we arrived here on the Spirit A319, and I'm really excited for this. So let's just go ahead and get started. So my mom briefly took me here during a Florida trip in 2015, so thank you to her. We didn't get to catch that many aircraft, so I've always wanted to come back to Orlando. This session was a nice hybrid to at least get to explore it. Obviously, I didn't get to go in any of the parking garages or go anywhere as an actual spotting location, so I did do some really quality terminal spotting, and today we're going to get to see the byproduct of all of that. So I really hope all of you are looking forward to this, and to understand the connotation of how this got structured the way that was, I'd recommend checking out the rest of the videos from this trip over to Indianapolis so that you'll see why we end up spotting here so long and so on. But nevertheless, we'll get into the formal spotting, and I'll kind of hint at all of it throughout today's video if you haven't got to see that yet. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started. So we landed on, I think it was 1-8 right, might be 1-8 left. It was one of those two. But as you can see here, we have a really cool catch to start. I think this is a WorldSheet Cargo Airbus A330, so that was super cool. Sorry about the haze. This was Florida in the summer. We kind of know the drill. Again, the main intent was to fly low-cost carriers. That's why we were here in Orlando today rather than photography. So there's going to be a couple of these that you see, but there's some really cool Gulfstreams and private jets in that area over there too. So that was certainly really cool. But this A330 was certainly a really cool catch with all the doors open. I thought that was super cool right there, to say the least. Here is a Boeing 737-200. This is super cool. I don't know who operates this aircraft or any of those details, but I still thought it was really cool to get to catch it despite the haze and whatnot. So that was certainly really cool to see, and always awesome to get to see a throwback airliner in 2023. So that's quite awesome right there. Here's a variety of aircraft over there on the cargo ramp on the northwest side of the airport. A DHL 737 freighter, a Spirit A320. What that was doing over there, I have no idea, but I guess I can feature that in an airport update now that I've seen that. In a National Airlines Boeing 757, which was quite cool. So really cool to get to see all these. Again, I have no clue what the Spirit was doing over there, but here's individual pictures. I'm so sorry about the haze and all the quality reduction here. It is not the prettiest, but still really cool to get to catch all three of these, especially the National Airlines 75, as those are really hard to find. So not only is that hard to find, but this next one right here, a National Airlines Boeing 747 in the it's not all white, I should say the white livery, because it has the navy on it too. A really cool catch. Unfortunate that I wasn't able to get better shots of it, but it was still super cool to get to capture this despite the haze. No clue what this was doing here. It could have been some sort of military charter or equivalent, but I was still super excited and fortunate to get to catch this stunning aircraft. It looks really cool. So overall, really cool catch right here. Again, I have no idea what it was doing out here, but I was really excited when I saw it, and super cool to get to see the Queen of the Skies in this livery. Really tough to get any national aircraft, so getting two of them right here right now is really cool. So very awesome to get to catch the 747. As you can tell, getting pictures through that window was super tough, but we did the best that we could right there. We do get the better pictures here, luckily, as we had this Frontier Airbus A320neo stretch the gray balloon hound, and as you can tell, it looks really good. So definitely really glad to get some better shots here as we were progressing. So that's certainly really cool to see right there. So we got some various angles of that. Looking very good. There's the National again, as you know. UPS Airbus E300 with the citation back there too, which is really cool. Here's our wing view, so you can really see how far away those aircraft were. So hopefully it's more understandable now why these shots were as bad as they were. So really cool to get to see that. And there's an Airbus E330. I think this is a 200 it appears. So really cool to get to see that right there. So that's quite awesome. Pushing back, we have the Spirit Airlines Airbus E320 with a hybrid livery. It has scratch titles with the Spirit.com engines, the most common hybrid for sure. Looking really good on 642, which I think I might have a model of, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty cool to get the note right there. Like the thunderstorm clouds, which will play a huge factor going forward in this video. So I'll explain that once we get inside the concourse, but nevertheless looking great on that Spirit. There's that awesome Puerto Rican parrot right there for Frontier on their Airbus E320neo. It's Swan, which is really cool. So I love that parrot across the way, but still cool to get it. And two bananas. We have a filled in E320 and another filled in aircraft down there at the end. So really cool to get to see both those hanging out right there. In a beautiful shot of the Spirit Airbus E321 with the same hybrid that we mentioned previously. Now this particular aircraft, I think I have a model of too. That registration just seems so familiar, so maybe not, but still really cool to see that and get really good shots of it right there. So definitely need to edit and post those sometime. There's an American Airbus E321. Yeah, really good shots here, and the wardrobe malfunction on top of that. So not sure if that came off a 320 or why it's white, but it still looks really cool right there. So that's really awesome. A Delta Airlines Airbus A330 blasting off. I think this was going to Minneapolis. I might be wrong, but still really cool to see that. And what you're going to see here is a bunch of hazy plane spotting pictures, which I apologize. Luckily, the good news is when they start taxiing by, it's better. But for the actual runways, it was pretty much what's the word I'm looking for? Unusable, pretty much. But we have a Southwest 737-700 and a Frontier A321 over there on the far side. I think that's Midnight the Wolf or one of those. But yeah, still really cool to get to capture all these aircraft. And of course, in these plane spotting videos, we're not quite as professional as what we are on Instagram. So certainly works. And you can tell the clarity's trying. It's not like it's not. It's just so far away. And it does get better once we get a little bit closer. So as you can tell, looking a little bit better there, but still haze is destroying the plane spotting session. But here we go. As you can tell, it is a little bit better. Now, let me explain real quick so it makes sense why I came during this time of day. So the only times that it worked to fly home with Spirit and Frontier was to come to Orlando during the top lit hours, which was like 12 to 2. I ended up getting delayed several hours, so we'll see that more in another video, and you'll see that here soon. Anyway, though, for this particular plane spotting section, ended up getting stretched out, but that's all right because the clouds did roll in anyways, as expected, and as a result, it did make the pictures a little bit clearer, so that's nice. But we do get better ones coming up. So at least you can kind of tell what we're doing here with Midnight the Wolf here on the Frontier A321. So that aircraft's looking quite awesome right there as well, looking very good. And I really like these ponds in Orlando that are quite cool, so that's certainly really cool to get to observe right there. And we have a Spirit Airbus E319 landing back there. Really cool double shot. Definitely could do some work with that. It just needs quite a bit of exposure here along with some other work there on the pictures. So still looking good though, and glad that turned to the light a little bit for me. So looking good right there. There's a Spirit A319 with the scratched out titles looking good, and a Delta A330-300 blasting off. Again, I think this was Minneapolis. It could have been Atlanta or somewhere else too, but still really cool to see these Delta wide bodies. Even a shot like that is quite nice. So personally, I was super happy with it, and we'll be very excited to see what I can do with it in the future. So looking good. How about a Copa 737-800? Really cool to get to see these. They are a little less common in my spotting videos, so you can just see how much the sun has tilted at this point in the year with how the lighting is on the fuselage here, but still really cool to get the pond in that shot. Southwest on the far side, really tough to tell, but still looking good, or really tough to see the clarity and registration, all that. Another Spirit Airbus E321, this time with the .com hybrid, so that's pretty cool to see. And there goes Copa blasting off. These shots aren't terrible, but they certainly aren't what I aim for when spotting. But again, what else was I going to do during this session? I wasn't going to sit on my laptop and I watch all these planes taxi by. Speaking of taxiing by, there's the .com hybrid right there with the pond, which I thought was really cool. Cool to get some of those shots. And again, hope to return to Orlando and get some more plane spotting in the future. An Airbus A318, A321 tow bar rather, which is really cool for Spirit, looking good. And a beautiful Gulfstream blasting off, which at this point they just turned around the airports and now we're taking off going towards the 36s. So really cool to see this aircraft be the first one out there on the North Flow ops for MCO. So looking very good for that aircraft. Really cool private jet. It looks really cool. And the bank. So overall, really cool to get to catch that aircraft right there. As we wait for the computer to load, there we go. And now a Citation blasting off as well, which is quite nice. There's our Spirit Airbus E319 right there. Again, these ponds are really cool, but very nice to get to see our aircraft looking very good right there. In a Spirit Airbus E321 with the scratched out titles once again, looking good, and a filled in Airbus E318 with a wardrobe malfunction, so looking quite nice. Definitely some workable shots here despite the haze. The haze isn't quite near as bad in some of these, but this one it certainly was. But this was still a really cool catch of the JetBlue Airways Airbus E320 in the Inspiring Humanity livery. Luckily, I do get better pictures of this later on, and we will take a look at those in the future, but still really cool to get to see this aircraft looking very nice, and I'm certainly very happy with the results of this aircraft right here. It's quite awesome. And there comes that A319 into the gate right here. So looking very good. And then there's an American 737 blasting off here on 36 right, I'm pretty sure. So looking good. And there's that aircraft docked up. Who knows when those A319s are getting retired, so capturing them to the best of my ability. A blurry Gulfstream right here, still looking pretty good. And a United 737-900ER with the wardrobe malfunction, looking great. Glad I got a better shot of the parrot earlier because that shot was unobtainable right there. And so for that one as well with the JetBlue high-rise E320. I tried to get out of the way of the APU here. I think I tried Ultra alternate spot soon. Here's the Southwest 737-800 with the blue scimitar looking really good. As you can tell, I'm finally getting there. As you can tell, this picture's finally getting better, but it was just tough to get it the angle just right. So that's what you see me working on right here. But luckily with those landing aircraft, they did taxi back by and the haze finally went away on those. So that's what you're seeing right here with this JetBlue A320 in the Tartantel rather. That's not high rise. What was I saying earlier? Apologies, guys. So looking good on that aircraft right there. Quite an awesome looker. Okay, did we make it to the end of the pictures? We did. So I'll load up the next round and then we'll get after the next round. So let's get started, guys. Alrighty, everybody, after SD card swap, now we're back. Here's an Aeromexico Boeing 737-800 and Orlando haze certainly doing me good, but very hopefully go back in the winter soon to get some better efforts there. But luckily, this is really good with this filled in Spirit Airbus A320. I'm loving these hybrids. Really want to get the 1-200 A320neo by Gemini Jets at some point with the filled in titles. It looks so good. So looking good for that aircraft. Also, these photos have not loaded in quite some time, so I apologize if they do take a moment. Here's this Aeromexico 737, so looking much better there. And I think we're taking off 3-6 right, landing 3-6 left. So looking good with all facets of what's going on here. Very nice. Okay, here's an American Airlines Airbus A321 taxiing out, this with IAE engines. Likewise for the Spirit Airbus A321, however, it was sharklets this time. Kind of turned into the sun a little bit for me there, so thank you, Spirit. I appreciate that. Here's a Spirit Airbus A320neo with the raccoon mask. I was super excited to catch this because of how cool it looks. Looking really nice there with the mask and overall really nice. This is the exact aircraft I want, a 1-200. I might as well just go ahead and buy it while I'm filming this video, right? No, I'm going to see if I can be patient, see if it comes at a collectible show. Anyways, really good looking aircraft right here. I love the livery. It looks so nice. So just a gorgeous aircraft and just money right there. It's so great. Intervals and clouded sunshine will begin here as we have the Puerto Rican Parrot taking off right there. So that's quite nice. I don't know if it did a board takeoff or if that was another plane we saw that looked exactly like it or what it was, but nevertheless, cool to see it now at the very least. Here's a sharklet American A321. These are very common in Orlando. They're pretty much all that they fly, plus the 737. So very cool to get to see it right here. As you can tell, lights really starting to go here, so don't worry, the clouds are coming very soon anyway. Man, haze heaven on that one. That's a United 737 MAX 9 blasting off. Still really cool to catch it. I still really want to get on one of these soon, so definitely an impressive vertical rate there. Nevertheless, whatever the haze is. So looking good for that particular aircraft right there. Looking very nice. As the SD card needs just a moment here. There we go. Looking very good. Patience will win the prize with this SD card. Here's an American 737, like I was just talking about. So really cool to see these making their rounds here at Orlando. Frontier Airbus E320neo. This is going to be Lone Star, the Longhorn steer, rather. Looking pretty cool. I love the pond right there to supplement it, so that's quite nice. A Delta 757-300. And this is kind of tough at Orlando from this particular spot, which is Terminal 1, by the way. If you didn't know, that's where Spirit and Frontier parks. It's all back and forth between the taxiway and the runways, so I tried to get as much as I could. Again, lighting was really starting to get rough at this point, so I was just having fun. And again, the main objective and motive here was to catch the low-cost flights, so this is just bonus plane spotting. A really good picture there, that steer looking very good. A Spirit A320neo, however, this one with the full Home of the Bear Fair engines, which seems like those are impossible to come by now. But there's one right there, so that's looking really cool. And along with that, you saw in the background, I think I get a better picture soon, we had a Breeze 195, so stay on the lookout for more of that. Here's a good looking Cougar right here for Frontier on their Airbus A321. Definitely the best part of the airline is all these tails. They're quite cool. And there's the Breeze Airways ERJ-190. I believe this aircraft was coming in from Charleston, maybe, somewhere like that. The Tulsa to Orlando route was active at this time. It was on Wednesdays and Saturdays, though, so that's why I didn't do it for this particular trip. Wish I would have got a chance to because now that's terminated. But anyway, still really cool to get to see Breeze doing what they do out of Orlando despite their operating model, ending perfectly good routes like the one I just mentioned. Anyway, though, still really cool to catch Breeze at the very least, and they look good here, so really nice right there. And then here is a Frontier Airbus E321. That is it Courtney the Cougar, I believe? Taxiing into the gate, looking very cool. Terminal 1 has a variety of windows that aren't tinted too, which is quite nice, so you can move around and kind of get some different angles. Spirit Hybrid A321, what more would you expect? The most common hybrid is everywhere here at Orlando, as Spirit has huge operations at cities like Las Vegas, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale, as we know. It's United 737-900ER. United operates mainly 737s, it seems like. And there goes that steer off to its respective destination. Very nice. And as we proceed, here's a Crown Spirit Airbus A320. These have hung around for quite some time. I'm filming this in late March 2024, and these are still around, so much so that I even got the fly ones on the lookout for that trip port. A Delta Airlines Boeing 767-300ER. Delta does fly these to Atlanta, to Atlanta from Orlando, so that's really cool. Love the 76, it's so cool. Very much looking forward to sharing my trip port on that for you all here soon. So stay on the lookout for that one in the near future. Here's a Southwest Boeing 737 MAX 8 and a 800 Southwest, of course, large operation here with all of their flights up north and all around town. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is what I call a Spirit Airlines belt loader. This belt loader probably got some pretty bad E85 or some sort of bad ethanol in it, as you can tell, because this is not what you would hope to see for a belt loader, but that guy was just chilling with it. So I appreciate him driving it around town. More Airbus A330s, this time an A330-200 for Delta. I think this may have been a Detroit flight, but really cool to get to see that right there. We'll get some more shots of it taxiing in shortly. And another Southwest 737-700 blasting off for the skies. And here's a Spirit Airbus A320 with the normal hybrid that we've talked about. Another wardrobe malfunction though. And here's Fran the Sea Lion on the Frontier Airbus A320 Neo. I thought it would be cool to experiment with some of these closer up shots because of the clouds. And as you can tell, that was going pretty well. So that's one of their better tells. It looks kind of cool. So definitely cool to get some close-ups of that. Spirit Airbus A319 blasting off with the filled-in titles. Looking very nice right there. Definitely a big fan of that aircraft. And an American 737-800 also taken to the skies. Here's another filled-in Spirit. This is an Airbus E320 pushing back right there. Looking very good. These aircraft do have Wi-Fi, which is really cool. And again, check out my Spirit trip report if you want. United 737-900ER in the older colors this time. Again, that's mainly what they fly here, so looking good. Did we make it to the end of these pictures? We did. So this was about the time when I would have had to pack all my bags and head over to my Frontier flight if it was on time. But my Frontier flight at this time was currently in a hold because of a huge thunderstorm that we're about to see pictures of here momentarily. So let me load the next round of pictures and you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about here in the near future. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the United 737-900ER. Looking quite nice. I guess this Citation also has a hangar here, which is pretty cool. Orlando, huge airport, so looking all good. I'll have to do some real work to get the contrast and all that lined up on this picture too. So still looking good though, glad to have it. Tennessee 1, how about this for Southwest's 737-800? I have seen this quite a few times now, but it was super cool to get it in this connotation. I do have better photos of it than this, but this was still really cool to get to see it here at Orlando. It's a really good looking livery and overall a great aircraft. You can see the sun kind of trying to break out right there, so that's quite nice. But as you'll see here through the turning, it kind of came out, then it kind of didn't, and then it kind of did, and then it kind of didn't. So we still made it work though, and I was still super happy to catch it and actually get some really good clarity on it here. That was probably the biggest takeaway, was actually getting some really good angles on it here. So these are really good, and I'm definitely excited to work with these here in the future. That shot right there, I mean, even a little fuzz right there, but that's glass distortion for you. But anyway, still really cool to get to catch this, and I was still very happy to get some cool shots of it. So personally, I was very pleased, and that was me running across the window so I could get it over here on the other side. So overall, really cool catch there. Definitely really glad to get it crossing the bridge, heading over to the Southwest gates, and definitely a super cool catch right there. So that was fantastic, to say the least. And as you can tell, I was not giving up on it, but still really cool to get it. I'll just give you one more view of it because of how cool it looked. I certainly was very happy to get it on this day. There it is. Very nice. Tennessee 1, the only 10 I see for sure. It looks really good on the 800. So a good job, Southwest. Looking very nice, and overall quite an effort right there, to say the very least. Very nice. As we wait for the SD card to continue to load, here's an American 737-800 with the logo only on the inside winglet. Quite a nice aircraft, looking very good. Love American in all that they do. A JetBlue Spotlight Airbus E320, looking very cool as well. Great looking aircraft. And a Southwest 737-700. Also keep in mind, all of this is pretty much essentially, to me, bonus plane spotting time due to this massive delay because my Frontier plane's in a hold north of the airport right now at this point. Here's the Volaris Airbus E320 blasting off. Really cool that Volaris has a few services here out of MCO. Definitely serving a good purpose there, so that's awesome. And there's the National 747. I just thought I'd try to get another angle of it because why not? And the sun was out. There's that loaded ramp. You can see all those private jets, flex jet among private companies. And then you got the Gulfstream and that A330 once again, and some sort of 737 there in the hangar, which is quite cool. So definitely cool to get to note all of those aircraft right there. That's fantastic. Looking very cool. And there's the 737 Classic right there, the A330 once again. United also has a maintenance hangar here in Orlando, which is quite cool. I believe they do work on their 737s, fittingly enough. So that's awesome to note. How about this Frontier Airbus A320neo? This is the Hammerhead Shark, I believe. Really cool to get to see this aircraft here today. It looks really good, so that's awesomeness. Here's a JetBlue Airbus A320 with the spotlight tail once again, looking very nice. So definitely really cool to get to see that aircraft. And here's Fran, the Sea Lion once again, and you got Spirit back there too. So that's really cool. Spirit Airbus A319 with the scratched out titles once again, hybrids on the go, looking very good. It should just be their normal livery at this point. There's that Frontier again. And here's a Breeze ERJ195 this time, looking super cool. So not the prettiest shots in the world, but this is what happens when you're walking around the concourses trying to get different angles, and then Breeze just all of a sudden gets past you. So still cool to get to catch it in what capacity I could. These shots are really cool. I'm really excited to hopefully do some contrast work with these at the gate. So I love these gate shots, and really excited to edit these up with Fran the Sea Lion here on this Frontier. And you also have Rocket the Hammerhead Shark. So that was a Hammerhead Shark. Good job, Connor. So pushing back right here, looking very good. Both of them were. There's the Cougar heading out on time. Luckily going to beat out the Thunderstorm. There's the National. And here's the Spirit filled in E320 Neo once again with the raccoon mask. Looking very cool. These are relatively new with the mask at this point. So very awesome to catch one right there. Looking really sharp, in my opinion. I really like it. It's weird after seeing all these hybrids, though, I will say that. So what can you do when they come for you in that case? All right, come on, computer. We got to be able to load here. This is not going to be... we all have a bunch going on. Come on. Patience will win the prize, and I really hope all of you are enjoying this. If you are, consider please liking the video. I'd appreciate that. It really helps out with the algorithm. It's one of the biggest factors is getting that like button. I really appreciate it. Patience will also be appreciated, wouldn't it? Because we just get to the middle of these photos and we just completely collapse. Typically, it's not this long, but I'm sure at some point the computer will process it. There we go, as I predicted, looking good. And then we got to just keep patiently waiting because we have even more pictures that we got to take a look at. But luckily in this picture, you can see the DHL and the other Spirit, which again, I have no idea why that was on the cargo ramp at all, but hey, it was. So we have to embrace it and certainly take the most out of that situation. We also are taking the most out of when my computer is continuing to take a really long time to load. There we go. So come on. We do have a fence tip E320, I think, for the first time right there, or second. Not very many. So really cool to get to note that aircraft right there. I really don't want to have to reload these pictures, but I certainly will if we can't get it moving here. You can see that it's working, and then it just kind of falls apart. And I only loaded like 300 at once, so I'm not sure why it's especially bad right now. But I'll give it about 5 to 10 more seconds here to even out. And if it doesn't, I will get this fixed for you all. And it looks like we are going to come up short. So let me get this fixed and we will be back. Alrighty, everybody, let's give this another try. I apologize. So here's our Frontier Airbus A320 Neo pushing back right there. And there's a Spirit Airbus A320 taxiing out and about, looking very good right there. Nice to get some cool light in there too, so that's awesome. Another American Airbus A321. And there's the Fran the Sea Lion right there. There goes that Spirit right there. Crazy to get all this bonus spotting for this delay. Pretty crazy. And again, feel free to check out my Did I Make My Connection Part 1 video if you want to check out the full story on the flight itself. Excuse me, sorry. Southwest Max 8. And there's the Frontier bags right there. I was trying to get a good shot of it. I don't know why. This is a cool shot of gates 10 to 19 on the billboard. So that's certainly awesome note. Spirit Airbus E320 Neo with the home of the Bear Fair. Really cool to see that. And there's those Boeing 737s I was talking about. Very cool. Airliners to Orlando, please, even though it'd be human. Here we go for the Spirit Airbus E320 Neo. Looking very good for that particular aircraft. And there's that Southwest Max blasting off. How about Silver? They do park at A. I believe they're the only other carrier. Here's their ATR. I believe this is a 72 that we're looking at right here. In this aircraft, the bag's so cool to see it up there close like that. So that was really cool to get a shot of that. And of course, the Flamingo on the tail. I really want to fly Silver. Hopefully it will happen soon. Fran the Sea Lion blasting off. We've only got 1,500 pictures of it, so only fair to get a couple more, right? And now we have that Spirit. These are actually really good. And this is why I was so excited that the Cloud arrived, which crazy sort of saying clouds arriving, right? Haze is gone and the shots are better, so you can see what we got right there. I think I was in priority mode. Priority's good, but through glass and moving pretty fast through the glass, it can kind of struggle. So you can see that here where it was trying to pan, it really shouldn't have, and so on. Southwest landing right, or this is takeoff rather, and you can see some of these are actually legit workable, which is really exciting. So I'll be excited to work with these at some point. But I definitely have learned my lesson on the focus techniques, and this is going to be completely neglected here by the R7. The R7 will fix all these problems. So the Canon T6i got 6 more months of plane spotting content from it, and then we are moving on, ladies and gentlemen. How about a Delta 767 though? That's looking fantastic. This really was a fair spot to do all the plane spotting, to be honest, considering all the circumstances. So I certainly was very happy, to say the least. Right here. And a United Boeing 737-900ER blasting off. A shot like that is even pretty good. You know, none of these are going to win an award, but they're still quite nice. How about that Crown Spirit Airbus A320 looking great? And a Spirit A321 has arrived, so looking good for that particular aircraft right there. Very nice effort. Go around Southwest 737-700. Really cool to get to see a go around here at MCO. This is quite awesome. I believe it was because an aircraft was on the runway too long, but nevertheless, still very cool to get to see it no matter what the circumstances were here for the go around, despite my camera not wanting to focus on it. So again, really cool to see that. Breeze ERJ-195, I believe. That's a 190, I think. I can't even tell at this point. With no matter what the case is, landing on 36 left. There's that National 747 with a little less haze this time. A VistaJet Challenger 350 and another Southwest 737 MAX that's already pretty wore out. Spirit Airbus E321 once again looking very good. This time it's 671, the sister ship of 672 that we saw earlier in the video. There's a good shot of that Breeze looking good. One of these might have been Fayetteville or equivalent. There's a JetBlue Airbus E321 with the Prism tail. Finally glad to see JetBlue. And another United 737. Spirit Airbus E320 looking pretty solid. And there's that JetBlue. And I'm assuming the next aircraft we saw too soon. Delta 767-400. Now, some of these are actually really good. These do fly here too, so that was super awesome to get the catch right there. Pretty good clarity on these too, so not bad. We'll have to see if we can work with that. So really cool catch right there, looking very good. Love the 767-400. Currently waiting my Panda models to come in to see what they're all about. But anyway, looking very forward to getting those newer liveries. And a Delta E330-200 takeoff on the other side. It looks like I ended up getting a pretty good shot here. So I was monitoring what was going on the other side, so I didn't miss any because there was a window over here, just wasn't near as close as what you're seeing on the side that we're on. So still cool that I'm able to bounce over here and get a couple of exclusive catches though in the meantime, which is quite nice. And there's that Spirit Airbus E320 filled in titles again in another Aero Mexico. Aero Mexico has a pretty large presence here, so glad to see this one now blasting off, the one that we saw earlier. America 737, terrible shot of Copa, but hey, it works. Tennessee 1 came over our way, so that was awesome. So got another shot there, and the sun kind of blasted on it, so that was interesting. But luckily the camera did a good job on that shot, especially. That one's super good, so I'll have to level that out a little bit and consider posting that. That's pretty good, so very happy with that. Let's see if we have any others that matched its quality. That one was trying to till the horizontal stabilizer arrived. And finally, for the first time on my channel and the first time ever for me, I finally got to catch Freedom 1 here on the Southwest 737-800. Were these shots to die for? Absolutely not, but did I get to finally capture it? Yes. So really happy about that. Freedom 1's a gorgeous plane. I'm looking at it over there on my shelf right now as we speak, and I'm so glad that I finally got to catch it here on this day. Terrible shots, but hey, catching it was super exciting, and luckily better shots are coming soon. So yes, Freedom 1 finally got it after all this time. What an awesome Southwest livery. I really appreciate Southwest taking the effort to make such a livery, and as you can tell, it looks super cool. So thank you, Southwest. Love the effort, and overall super cool. So what an awesome place to transition into our next round of spotting. Alrighty, everybody, there goes Freedom 1, and on to our next catch, which is that silver ATR that I was telling you about, but nevertheless, you can see these really cool close-ups now, which is quite cool. Also note the rudder right there, that's really cool. So really glad to get some cool pictures of the silver at long last. Definitely would be happy to go back and get some more catches of them. Goodbye, Freedom 1. So glad to catch you that time, and we'll see you in the next spotting session. And how about this beautiful silver ATR right here, looking super good. So definitely really glad to get to catch this right here. This is absolutely fantastic, and what a great looking aircraft right there. Pulling into the gate, that's the all-white livery, the Silver Warrior, this one is named. So really cool to catch this one, just 2 off from the previous one that we saw in the registration. Looking very good. What a super cool catch, and we'll get more shots of it here momentarily. Delta Airlines Airbus E321 taxiing out for departure, looking quite cool. And here's an American Airlines Boeing 737-800 blasting off. The aircraft's looking really good, so definitely really cool to see that one right there. And here's a JetBlue Airbus E320 with the spotlight tail blasting off as well, looking really good. As you can see, lifting off to the sky as it slowly loads. And you can see how dark it's getting, and you're about to see some additional pictures that will really do the work. I'm pretty sure they're on my DSLR. If not, I'll have to get a phone picture and insert them, because They were storms were brewing. We will say that. There's the beautiful United 737 MAX 8 looking very good right there on 17289. Very cool shots right there. I love the Evo Blue livery, so never going to pass up a chance to capture that here today. So that's quite awesome. As the SD card just hasn't loaded in a while, I need to fix that for next time. Clarity is also really good at this point too, which is awesome. JetBlue Airbus A320 with the spotlight tail. Fence tips, and then here is some sun on this silver Airbus E320. But first, the JSX 145 has to blast off. Sun, this is going to be one of the final times it blasts through. It was still crazy to me that it was still blasting through at this point on 645 November Kilo with the scratched out tail. So looking very good. Delta A321 blasting off another one this time. So really cool to see that and get some cool contrast and clarity. So very happy with the byproduct of this particular capture. Looking very good. I forgot how long the spotting session was. We're not even, I think we're just about halfway. Man, I hope you all are enjoying this. This is what bonus spotting looks like on a 3-hour Frontier delay. Our plane's still holding, by the way, at this point, if you're wondering. Silver ATR 72 blasting off right here. Looking very good once it loads. There we go. I don't know if I ever get a clear shot of it, though, so that's certainly an interesting development that we have to keep our eye on. There we go. Finally, at long last, just took zooming out to get there, but we did get there, so that's all that matters. In a Southwest 737-800 with the scimitar winglets, now taking off on 3.6 right as well. So looking very good right here for that aircraft. And then there's a silver Airbus. Silver does not fly Airbuses. This is a Spirit Airbus A320 pushing back, A321. JetBlue taking off right there. It is getting extremely dark at this point, as you can tell, and that means it's about to rain. But we are going to catch these planes until the ground stop begins, which, yes, there is a ground stop for your information. Frontier Airbus E320, Ordinal the Cardinal. I have this model, so very cool to get it towed right here, along with that Southwest double shot. This is a 737-700, taking it off for the skies. But yeah, Frontier, really cool tails. I love the Orville, excuse me, along with that Spirit crowns in the back. That's quite cool. Speaking of which, there it is right there with the double wardrobe malfunction. Really cool to get that aircraft captured here in this moment. Filled in titles, yes. Getting extremely dark, but we're not quite to the darkest point yet, believe it or not, as we still have enough light in these planes to take pictures. Okay, I was just making sure I didn't miss any captures when how challenging they're going to be to get. Southwest MAX 8, the clarity was kind of struggling at this point. United 737-900ER looking very nice. Certainly a big fan of United's older livery as well. It's been really cool to see the hybrid era at airports like Denver and Houston as of late. So looking good there. We also got a 737-700 back, or that might be an 800, I can't tell, but 737 of sorts at the hangar too. It's looking very good as the computer hopefully will load here in the near future. Apologies once again, trying to get the setup to be a little bit more sufficient, but what can you do when these files are so big? There's the Breeze ERJ-195, it appears, blasting off. Don't shoot sideways through glass, there it works, but of course I just want to capture it. So in this case, it did make sense why we were doing what we were doing. So anyway, looking good here for this aircraft. I will try to load these pictures for the next round, so hopefully this doesn't happen again. Spirit Airbus E320 blasting off, looking very good here. I think if I just do one click at a time, it works a little bit better. Frontier Airbus E321, this is the Orca. Aero Classics just did this aircraft at Aircraft just did... Aero Classics just did this aircraft at the time of recording, so really cool. I'm so excited to get that model, but really cool to see it here in Orlando. I love that tail, and we get better shots shortly. Here's the silver ATR. This got moved over to the... I can't remember if this was moved over to a remote stand or if this is where it parked to begin with, but I think this got moved over, so really cool little tug right there too. Really awesome to see the GPU as well. Certainly quite a bit going on with this aircraft, so very cool to get to catch it right there. Looking very good, and I believe we get some pushback shots. There's that Orca looking very good with the bubbles. It's quite awesome. And there's a Caribbean Airlines 737 MAX 8. Really cool to catch that. Glad to have the model of that now, and glad I bounced over to the other side for that. Orland the Cardinal docked up at 23, so cool to see that looking good. And there's our Spirit lineup, also looking really good between those two Airbuses. Here's a Southwest 737. Southwest has plenty of flights. This Xavier the Mountain Goat here for Frontier. Terrible shot, but that's all right. And here comes the rain. So it just started pouring. I'm sorry I don't have a good thunderstorm picture here. I'll see if I can insert one if I get a chance at some point. I'll just airdrop it in for the next segment. That's what I'll do. But it starts raining at this point. So as you can tell, operations are essentially about done, but I did get a couple of really cool rain captures, including that Southwest 737. Clarity is going to be tough at this point, so I hope you forgive. Flex jet blasting off, especially on these shots. Go-arounds were happening left and right at this point. So at this point, what happened was my flight was so far delayed that I was assuming that I was going to miss my other 2 flights a day of Southwest from New Orleans to St. Louis to Tulsa. I'm not going to tell you what happens from here. All I'm going to tell you is that at this point, I was exploring hotel options in Orlando, and that's all the more I'll say. So you'll have to check out my other videos for what happens there. But we will, of course, finish this Orlando plane spotting session. So here's that goat that I was talking about, and here's the flight board at this point. I didn't get a better picture than that, but it doesn't really matter anyways. As you can tell, flights were delayed left and right, so we had a Frontier flight to, I don't even know how to pronounce that city. I'm going to do my best. Oxford, somewhere like that, delayed. Boston was delayed. Dallas was canceled on Spirit. Silver to Fort Lauderdale was delayed, and New Orleans, which was my flight, was delayed. At 4:16 was the original departure time. I can tell you it was 4 p.m. and we're not leaving. And Raleigh Durham was also delayed as well. Here's the arrival board. Really tough to see, but you can see Spirit flight from Planets was delayed, and then Santo Domingo on Frontier was canceled. So there's a better shot at long last. So that's quite cool to see. But I love getting pictures of the arrival and departure boards just for memory's sake. And also in the future at some point I will love to review all this. So definitely really cool to capture this now. So we'll be able to do just that. So looking very good here so far. And let's see. So I did go through the gates and get a couple of shots because there were a few planes still attempting to leave. Whether they leave or not, we will see. But here's a Spirit Airbus E321 pushing back for a departure here. Looking very nice. And again, I apologize about these pictures. I don't know. I think I might have a little bit too much running on my computer, so I will close it all here soon. A Virgin Atlantic Airbus E350-1000 did land in, so this was super cool to catch. I was certainly very impressed to see this. So the airport will reopen soon. I will say that. So Spirit heading out despite the rain as well. We will get some really cool shots coming up. So there goes that one. And then there's that mountain goat. You can see it started to clear off a little bit. This was probably over the course of at least an hour or so. And there's a Frontier Turtle looking very good. So the Frontier planes all finally started leaving at this point, and all planes do start leaving again. So there's a Delta 321, Delta 321 Neo. It was still at least light rain at this point, so some of these pictures are still not going to be very good, but operations were back, so of course I wanted to go spotting. But that Neo shot honestly wasn't too terrible. These are I don't know if I would post them, but they certainly are still cool memories. There's Shotcut the Moose right there for Frontier landing in. I think my aircraft was still in the hold at this point. It's been in a hold for like at least an hour at this point. So certainly cool to think about that. It went into 2 holds, so much so. Anyway, though, here's the Frontier 320 Neo that I was referencing. And there's the United 737-900 getting our takeoff push started after a huge delay. Spirit over there on the far side, and in the Southwest, the water kick-up was super cool, and Vapor too. Why can I not forget that? How can I not forget that, rather? There's our aircraft finally landing in. That's a Frontier Airbus A321 Audi the Owl landing in. So really cool to finally get to see the aircraft I'm supposed to be on in after a 3-hour delay. So certainly really cool to see that right there. And we have an Azul Airbus A330-900 Neo, and this is the pink livery. So as you may remember, if you got to see my MTS Aviation Models video, the store, which if you haven't, I recommend checking that out very much. I saw this aircraft in model form 2 days before we got this capture right here. So at Oshkosh, the model got transported to Oshkosh for sale. I bought it there, and now it's here at my house right now. So quite a sequence of events to go from seeing this model to seeing the aircraft and then buying the model and now reflecting on all that, but still really cool. So really awesome catch. Definitely one of my favorites of the day. I was so excited to see this. Really beautiful livery, and definitely super cool to see Azul's large presence in Florida. So really cool catch. I really enjoyed getting this one from Brazil, and that was an absolute blast. First time getting a memorable Azul catch, excluding the A350 I saw at Fort Lauderdale. Actually, it may have been a 330. It was some sort of Azul airplane. Anyway, though, super glad to get this. A couple with the rain, too. I thought that was really cool with the beacon right there. So, personally, I was thrilled with it. Really cool catch right there. That was awesome. Spirit blasting off right there, A319. And we have another one pulling in right there as we speak. And look at that kick up, man. United Max 9 on the far side. I wish my camera was a little bit more, had a little bit more reach there, but that's okay. And you can see the rain just pouring in. I'll have to post some of these sometimes. There goes our Orca. Probably my new favorite memory with that Orca now, even though I've seen it, I think at Dallas before this. We saw it once, and then here now. Really excited to get that Frontier Aero Classics release. So really cool memories with this aircraft, and really stoked to get it here in the collection very soon. So really cool shots throughout. And there's Audie the Owl right there on our Frontier Airbus E321. I did a little bit more spotting, I believe, at this point still. So there she goes on the Orca. Great looking aircraft. Again, stoked for the model. It looks really good, and none of these are crazy good, but that's fine. We got some good taxiing shots. So all bonus points, right? So was very happy with all the marbles, as they would say. And that is the end of this round of pictures. So let's see if we have any additional ones to take a look at. Alrighty, everybody, so there goes the Orca off and at him, so great to see that. And there's a Spirit Airbus E319 looking very good right there. Love the filled in titles, look so good. This was a super cool catch. This Aeromexico Boeing 737-800 in this special livery. It was raining again at this point, so it was really tough to tell. I think this was some sort of like soccer livery, I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, still really cool to see this. Now I think my best shot might be that one, which is not a very good one, but hey, we still got to capture it, so that was still super cool. I was certainly very happy with the catch, and I thought it looked really, really cool. So really sweet to see this livery despite the quality, and definitely a very unique one. So probably will not have a chance to see it again. So very fortunate to see it right there, and it looks super cool. So that was super fun right there. Was really happy about that. We have a citation with the early rotation looking very good right there. That's quite awesome. And a British Airways Boeing 777-200ER blasting off right here. Really tough to see it with the light, but nevertheless going off the London Gatwick looking really cool. What a great looking aircraft. Overall, the BA 222, one of the most iconic ones out there. And definitely really cool to get the capture right here. So I certainly was very happy about it. Looking very good. What a cool aircraft. So definitely a thriller right there on that one. This is a really cool shot of the Spirit Airbus A319 pulling into the gate with the rain. I definitely need to start working with some of these with how cool that rain is, the effect of it. American Airbus E321, because they are everywhere around here. And a United, as you can see, it's breaking up a little bit, and this bird, Boeing 737-800. And I didn't get another shot of our aircraft, but nevertheless, that is us taxiing out right there with service out to New Orleans. So your hint for this video is, yes, I did take the Frontier flight, and I won't spoil any more surprises about did I make my connection, which definitely check out those videos along with the trip reports if you haven't got a chance to do so. I'm very excited to tell this story, as it was really quite a risk to take 3 airlines in one day through Florida in the summer, but luckily, you will see what happens, good, bad, or indifferent. So I really hope you all enjoyed all this spotting. Thank you, Frontier, for the delay, for all the spotting, and whether it's going to cost my wallet or not, we shall see, but we got to make the memories. I very much enjoyed it, and I hope all of you did as well. So with all that being said, everybody, that'll do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. My name is Redriveraviation. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe, trust the process. Do you love you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon, as Redriveraviation is signing off.